You said that anxiety can keep us from the things that we desire, like the orgasmic, intimate relationship, friendships, success in business. Can you share a bit about how it actually stops us from getting those things that we want?
Sure, absolutely. Anxiety, first and foremost, is a massive distraction because we have to check it all the time. For lots of people, we're assessing the body. How is the body feeling right now? How's the mind feeling? Oh my gosh, I have this feeling. I have to go into this meeting. I have to put this anxiety away. I have to get my crap together right now and go into this meeting and figure out what I've got to do because I want to be successful in my life or my business or my job, my profession, etc. And so when I say anxiety is a distraction, these physical responses, anybody who's listening who's ever dealt with anxious feelings, let alone them being chronic, can attest that it's like having a headache where you can't get rid of the headache. You can't compartmentalize the headache, but it's happening in your whole body because your feelings and your emotions and your energy are expressed throughout your whole body. So you're walking around carrying all this stuff on you, and it's a huge distraction, first of all. And then the roots of the anxiety, anger, frustration, etc., are rooted in experiences that we've had when we were children. The first level is up to 3 years old. Most of the patterns that the world is running on, we're adults with 3-year-old subconsciouses in our bodies, right? Which is so crazy and so true, by the way, because we're all running patterns from there unless we've done the work to heal them. And still, even if we've released the anxiety, some of the patterns are still there. And then up to 8 years old, there's a huge chunk of beliefs and patterns that we've learned from other people that came into our awareness. Often people will say to me, well, there's anxiety in my family, so no wonder I have anxiety. Yeah, of course, you learned it by watching how the people that you love and respect respond to things, and that told your subconscious mind how to respond. It wasn't a conscious teaching. We're not blaming anybody, and it wasn't a conscious decision to learn that, but we're little sponges. And then if we have traumatic experiences happening throughout our lives, which everybody does, everybody's had moments of embarrassment or shame or loss or failure, massive failure, little failure, big T trauma or little T trauma, where many people don't even consider it trauma. That's just been peppered throughout our lives. And all of these experiences tell a story. They tell us a story. So imagine you witness something as a child and something happens to you as a child. Say you're betrayed as a child. The story will be there. And the story about that experience may say, well, I must not be very valuable for someone to betray me in that way. Or I must not be worth very much for someone to betray me that way. Or maybe I have to be different or better for that to not happen again. So I'm going to start really being the best at everything I can do so they can't put me down. They can't betray me. They will see my value because of what I'm producing, who I take care of, how I handle everything, how I know everything. Lots of high achieving women know everything, right? Could probably write encyclopedias. And all these things tell a story. They tell us a story constantly. So that anxiety is rooted in those stories. And those stories will come up and they will say, well, I know you have this beautiful vision board. I know you've mapped it out on Pinterest. I know you've visualized it 1,000,000 times, but I'm not going to let you have it because of that story that you have from when you were 7 years old and that person betrayed you and you don't feel very worthy. I'm not going to let you have it. At least not the way that you want to. I'm going to give you a level of it that you'll feel like you can settle for and like you can handle it. And it'll be okay if I get this much. But there will always be that longing until that pattern is broken, until those experiences are healed and released. It's a lot. We're all kids just walking around in adult bodies trying to figure life out together. So we got to give each other a lot more grace.
No wonder the world is in the state that it is now.
Right.
So all these 3-year-olds throwing tantrums in adult bodies.
Literally, yes. Stories.
Wow.
Our subconscious mind, desiring to stay safe, will start to tell stories about everybody else too. This is the only kind of partner that I qualify for with my story. So I'm going to have a partner that doesn't really respect me or honor me, and that can easily betray me because that's what I've grown to expect. Or I can only get this far in my business. I can only allow myself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can only get this far in my business. I can only allow myself this much success because that's the level I've decided I can handle. We can handle so much more. We're designed for more.
I'm imagining you in a client session and they come to that realization where the partner example, I think, is a big slap in the face. If you've been with a
Yeah.
partner who betrayed you, who treated you disrespectfully, and then you realize that you actually not called it in, but that is your level of expectation because that's all you knew. How
Right.
profound and how like awakening that would be for your client in that moment, or for anyone listening now that
It
might
really
have
is.
that aha moment as well. Yeah.
And there's no space for judgment here. Please don't judge yourself. Look at it gently, kindly, lovingly, because you've always been doing the best that you could do. You've always been doing the best that you could do. And so judgment here is not beneficial. Just notice, like, oh, that's why it is the way it is. And if you're listening to the Awaken Feminine podcast, we know you want more out of your life. And that's why you're called to programs like this. That's why you're listening. That's why you're learning. And that's okay, because that's why you're here. You're here to learn these connections so that you can make the shifts, so that you can get the support, so that you can stretch yourself, so that you can notice your values and your stories and set better standards and live out those standards in a way that feels good to who you are now. Yes, I get on a rant, so I'll take a breath.
It's great. I love your rants.